The station's conference room was a mess. Papers floated in the low gravity. Digital screens blinked with half-finished reports, and empty coffee containers drifted near the ceiling. Taewon rubbed his tired eyes and looked at the chaos around him. 6 months of negotiations, and they were still nowhere close to finishing the trade agreement. "This is impossible," he muttered in Korean, forgetting his translator was on. Velara looked up from across the table. Her skin shimmered with soft blue light, a sign that she was concentrating. She was tall, almost 7 feet, with 4 arms that moved independently. Her face was humanoid enough to read expressions, but alien enough to remind Taiwan they were from different worlds. "Nothing is impossible," she said in her precise musical voice. "Only difficult." Taewon watched as she began organizing the floating documents. Her 4 arms worked together like a perfectly choreographed dance. She grabbed papers, sorted them, and arranged them into neat categories. Within minutes, the chaos started making sense. She created organized piles for mineral rights, technology exchanges, and cultural agreements. "How do you do that?" Taewon asked, genuinely amazed. "Do what?" "Make order from chaos. I've been staring at these documents for hours." Velara's head tilted slightly. A gesture he'd learned meant she was pleased. "It is simply a matter of seeing patterns. Your human minds jump between ideas quickly. Mine follows straight lines." They worked in comfortable silence for another hour. Taewon had grown used to Velara's presence over the past months. When he first arrived at Harmony Gate Station, he'd been terrified of making mistakes. Humans were the newest species in the Galactic Council. Everyone watched them, judging whether Earth deserved a seat among the stars. Velara had been patient with him. She explained alien customs, warned him about cultural mistakes, and never made him feel stupid for not knowing something. Her people, the Quillith, were known as fierce warriors, but she was also smart, fair, and surprisingly funny in her own way. "Done," Velara announced, placing the last document in its proper stack. Taewon looked at the organized work and felt a wave of gratitude. Without her help, he'd still be drowning in paperwork. The thought made him smile. She'd be perfect at organizing his apartment back on Earth. His sister Jisoo always complained about his mess. The thought slipped out before he could stop it. "You'd make a cute wife," he said in Korean, then laughed at his own tired brain. Velara's bioluminescent markings suddenly stopped glowing. All 4 of her arms froze in place. Taewon's smile faded. Sorry. That was a joke. A human expression. It means you're good at organizing things." The silence stretched. Velara's skin began changing colors, flowing through shades of blue and purple that Taewon had never seen before. Her 3 eyes fixed on him with an intensity that made him uncomfortable. "Velara, are you okay?" "You." Her voice came out barely above a whisper. "You propose bonding?" "What?" "No, I just meant, I accept." The 2 words hit Taewon like a physical blow. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. "Accept? Accept what?" Velara stood up, her full height making her tower over him. Her skin now glowed with steady golden light. "I am honored by your proposal, Taewon of Earth. I accept your offer of partnership bonding." Wait. Taewon stood up quickly, nearly hitting his head on a floating coffee container. "I didn't propose anything. It was just a saying. A joke. A joke?" Velara's skin flickered with confusion. "You stated I would make a suitable wife. Among humans, wife means bonded partner, yes?" "Well, yes. But you chose me for this role." "No, I mean, I was just saying you're helpful and among my people," Velara interrupted, her voice taking on a formal tone. "When one warrior acknowledges another as suitable for life partnership, it is a sacred proposal. To offer such words is to offer one's trust, loyalty, and future." Taewon felt the blood drain from his face. "But I didn't know that. I was just tired and making a stupid comment." "Ignorance does not negate intent," Velara said, but her voice softened slightly. "You spoke from your heart, even if your mind did not realize the weight of your words." "Velara, please, can we just forget this happened?" Her skin flashed bright red for just a moment, then returned to gold. "Forget? You wish to retract your proposal?" "Yes. I mean, no offense, but I didn't actually propose anything." Velara's entire body went still. When she spoke again, her voice was colder than he'd ever heard it. "I see. You offer bonding I accept with honor, and now you wish to pretend it never happened." "That's not what I mean. Do you understand what you've done?" she asked quietly. "Among the Quillith, To retract a bonding proposal after acceptance is the gravest insult possible. It suggests the one who proposed acted in deception, that they lied to manipulate emotions. Taiwan's heart was racing now. I didn't lie. I just made a mistake. Mistakes have consequences. Velara moved toward the door, her movements stiff and formal. I must inform my commander of our bonding. We will prepare the proper contracts and ceremonies. Contracts? Ceremonies? Yes. The bonding must be formalized within 1 lunar cycle, or it will be considered a false proposal. False proposals mean... She paused at the door. They mean war, Taiwan. Between our peoples. The door slid shut behind her, leaving Taiwan alone in the suddenly too quiet room. His hands were shaking. His stupid, tired joke had just accidentally started an interstellar marriage proposal. Or possibly a war. He grabbed his communicator and immediately called Hyun, his mentor, back at the Earth Embassy section of the station. The older man's face appeared on the screen, looking half asleep. Taiwan. It's the middle of the night cycle. I think I just accidentally proposed marriage to the Quillith ambassador. Hyun blinked. Then blinked again. Then he was suddenly very awake. What did you do? Taiwan explained everything, the words tumbling out in a panic. Hyun's expression grew more serious with every sentence. When Taiwan finished, Hyun was quiet for a long moment. You need to come to my office. Right now. And Taiwan, yes? Don't talk to anyone else. Especially not other Quillith. If word of this spreads before we figure out a solution... Hyun didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Taiwan left the conference room, his mind spinning. How had a simple joke turned into this nightmare? He thought about Velara's expression when he'd tried to take it back. The hurt in her voice quickly covered by cold formality. He hadn't meant to insult her. He hadn't meant any of this. But as Hyun always said, intent didn't matter as much as impact. And the impact of his careless words might just cost humanity its place among the stars. Hyun's office was small and cluttered with books about alien cultures. The older diplomat sat behind his desk, fingers pressed together, staring at Taiwan with the expression of someone watching a disaster unfold in slow motion. Tell me exactly what you said, Hyun demanded for the 3rd time. I said she'd make a cute wife. In Korean first, then I translated it as a joke. And her response? She asked if I was proposing bonding. I said no. She said she accepted anyway. Hyun closed his eyes and took a deep breath. The Quillith don't joke about partnerships. Their entire culture is built on warrior bonds and sacred contracts. I know that now, Taiwan said miserably. Let me check something. Hyun pulled up his computer and started searching through diplomatic databases. His frown deepened as he read. After several minutes, he looked up. This is worse than I thought. How can it be worse? The Quillith have been part of the Galactic Council for 3,000 years. In all that time, there have been exactly 4 broken bonding contracts. 3 led to limited military conflicts. 1 led to a civil war that killed millions. Taiwan felt sick. Over marriage proposals? Not marriage as humans understand it, Hyun explained. Quillith bonding is a strategic alliance. 2 warriors pledge to support each other in all things. Political, military, personal. It's deeper than marriage, but less romantic. Think of it as becoming family by choice. So if you refuse now, after she accepted, you're essentially calling her unworthy. You're saying she's not good enough to be your ally. For a Quillith warrior, that's the deepest possible insult. Taiwan put his head in his hands. What do I do? I don't know yet. Let me contact Earth and the Council mediators. Don't leave this office. Don't talk to anyone. But it was already too late. Taiwan's personal communicator started buzzing. His sister's face appeared on the screen before he could silence it. Did you really propose to an alien? Jisu's voice was half laughter, half shock. It's all over the human staff network. People are calling you the first interstellar husband. It was an accident, Taiwan groaned. An accident? How do you accidentally propose marriage? Hyun grabbed the communicator. Jisu, this isn't funny. Your brother might have created a diplomatic crisis. Jisu's smile faded. Oh, wait, you're serious? Very serious. I need you to do something. Search every database you can access for information about Quillith bonding contracts, especially how to dissolve them safely. I'm on it. Jisu's expression turned professional. She was a military engineer, used to solving problems under pressure. Give me 2 hours. The next hours were torture. Hyun made calls to Earth authorities. Taewon sat in the corner, replaying his stupid joke over and over in his mind. Why hadn't he kept his mouth shut? Why hadn't he learned more about Quilith culture? His communicator buzzed again. This time it was a message from Velara. We need to discuss bonding terms. Meet me in conference room 7 in 1 hour. Hyun read the message and frowned. You have to go. Refusing to meet would make things worse. What do I say to her? Be honest. Be respectful, and for the love of Earth, think before you speak. When Taewon arrived at conference room 7, Velara was already there. She wasn't alone. Ara, her second-in-command, stood beside her. Ara was even taller than Velara, with scars across her arms and a reputation for being extremely dangerous in combat. Taewon, Velara greeted him formally. Please sit. He sat across from them, feeling like he was facing a firing squad. Velara slid a data pad across the table. This is the standard bonding contract. It outlines our mutual responsibilities, shared resources, and alliance terms. Taewon stared at the document. It was 50 pages long and written in Quilith formal language. I can't read this. I will explain, Velara said. The contract establishes us as a bonded unit. We represent each other in political matters. We defend each other in conflicts. We share credit for achievements and responsibility for failures. For how long? Life, Ara said bluntly. Quilith bonds are permanent. Taewon's heart sank. And if I don't sign? The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Velara's skin flickered through several colors before settling on deep blue. Then you admit your proposal was false, given in bad faith. I already told you it was an accident. Accidents reveal truth, Velara said quietly. You were tired. Your guard was down. In that moment of vulnerability, you spoke what your heart felt, that I would be a suitable partner. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? Velara leaned forward. Explain to me how suggesting someone would make a good life partner is meaningless to humans. Taewon tried to find the words. It's something people say. It doesn't have weight. It's like saying have a nice day or see you later. Your people throw around life partnerships like casual greetings? Ara sounded disgusted. No, that's not. Look, humans joke about things. We say things we don't literally mean. It's how we show comfort with someone. Velara tilted her head. So you were showing comfort with me? Yes. By suggesting a life partnership. By making a joke about partnership. There's a difference. Not to us. Velara stood up. I have informed my commander. She is consulting with the Quilith home government. They will decide whether your retraction is acceptable or if it demands response. Response meaning war, Taewon said flatly. War is unlikely, Velara admitted. But sanctions against Earth? Definitely. Your species is new to the Council. You have few allies. The Quilith have many. If we declare that humans cannot be trusted in their word... She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Taewon understood perfectly. Earth would be isolated, possibly expelled from the Council. All because of his stupid joke. After Velara and Ara left, Taewon returned to Hyun's office. Jisoo was there, her face on the video screen. I found something, she said. There's a clause in Quilith bonding law. If the proposal was made under clear mental impairment, it can be voided. Mental impairment? Taewon asked. Drugs, severe exhaustion, illness. If you can prove you weren't in your right mind... Hyun shook his head. That won't work. Taewon was tired but functional. They'll never accept it. There's another option, Jisoo continued. If both parties agree the bond serves no purpose, it can be dissolved. But both have to agree. Velara will never agree, Taewon said. She thinks I insulted her by trying to back out. Then you have a choice, Hyun said quietly. Sign the contract and hope you can end it later, or refuse and deal with the consequences to Earth's reputation. Taewon stared at the ceiling. 6 months ago, he'd been excited about this assignment. Now he was trapped between his accidental promise and his planet's future. His communicator buzzed. Another message from Velara. I know you did not mean to propose, but words have power. Actions have consequences. I will give you 3 days to decide. Sign the contract or I will inform the Council that humans speak empty promises. 3 days to decide his future. 3 days to figure out how to fix the biggest mistake of his life. Or 3 days to accept it. Taewon stood in front of the mirror in his quarters trying to calm his nerves. 2 days had passed since Velara's message. Tomorrow was his deadline. Tonight he'd made his decision. He was going to sign the contract. Not because he wanted to, but because the alternative was worse. Yun had shown him the projections. If the Quillith turned against Earth, at least 6 other species would follow. Humanity's dreams of joining the galactic community would die, all because of his careless words. "You look terrible," Jisoo said through the video screen. She'd taken emergency leave and was on her way to the station, but she wouldn't arrive for another week. "I feel terrible. Have you talked to Velara? Like, actually talked to her? What's there to say? She thinks I proposed. I didn't mean to, but I have to fix my mistake." "Maybe it's not a mistake," Jisoo said carefully. "What? You talk about her all the time. Even before this happened. Velara helped me with this." Velara explained that. "Velara made me laugh. You respect her." "Respect isn't the same as wanting to be bonded for life." "No, but it's a start. Look, I've been reading about Quillith partnerships. They're not romantic. They're practical. 2 people who work well together, who trust each other, making it official. That doesn't make this easier. I know, but maybe stop thinking about what you're losing and think about what you might gain." Before Taewon could respond, his door chimed. He ended the call with Jisoo and opened the door to find Velara standing there. "We need to talk," she said. He let her in. She looked different somehow. Less formal. Her skin glowed with soft purple light, which he'd learned meant uncertainty. "I spoke with my commander," Velara began. She explained that humans have different cultural contexts for partnership words. "Oh," Taewon said, surprised. "She suggested I may have overreacted, that your joke was not meant as a true proposal." Hope flared in Taewon's chest. "So we can forget this happened?" Velara's skin flashed red. "No, because I already accepted. My acceptance is binding, even if your proposal was not meant seriously. To retract my acceptance would shame me. So we're still stuck." "Yes, but I wanted you to know that I understand you did not mean it. I will not hold anger against you." She moved toward the door, then paused. "The bonding ceremony is scheduled for 5 days from now. If you sign the contract." "Ceremony? Of course. Quillith bonding requires formal rituals, combat trials to prove worthiness." "Combat?" Taewon's voice cracked. "I have to fight someone?" "You must face a champion chosen by my second in command. It is tradition. If you cannot prove yourself worthy in combat, the bond is void." After Velara left, Taewon immediately called Hyun. The older diplomat's response was not encouraging. "Quillith combat trials are brutal. You're not trained for this. Can I refuse? Refusing the trial is the same as refusing the bond. You're back to square one. So I have to fight? You have to try. The trial isn't about winning. It's about proving you won't give up. Show courage and determination, and you'll earn respect even in defeat." The next morning, Taewon signed the contract. Velara's skin glowed bright gold when he handed her the signed datapad. "I am honored," she said formally. "I just hope I survive the combat trial. Ara has chosen herself as the champion you must face." "Great. The scariest Quillith on the station." Velara's expression was unreadable. "She will not kill you, probably." That's not reassuring. The next 5 days passed in a blur. Hyun arranged for basic combat training. The station's security chief, a gruff man named Daejung, taught Taewon how to fall without breaking bones and how to protect his vital organs. "You're going to lose," Daejung said bluntly. "Quillith are stronger, faster, and have 4 arms. Your only advantage is that you're human." "How is that an advantage?" "Humans are weird. We don't follow patterns. We're creative, unpredictable, use that." Word spread about the bonding ceremony. Other humans on the station came to watch. Several alien species sent representatives. Apparently, human-alien bondings were rare enough to be interesting. The ceremony took place in the station's largest cargo bay, converted into an arena. Hundreds of spectators filled temporary seating. Taewon stood in the center wearing simple combat clothes. His hands were shaking. Velara approached him, her skin glowing with colors he couldn't interpret. "You can still withdraw," she said quietly. "I will claim the bond was my error. Take the shame myself." "No," Taewon said. He'd made his choice. "I said the words even by accident. I'll face the consequences." Across the arena, Ara stepped forward. She was massive, her forearms already flexing in preparation. The scars on her body told stories of countless battles. A Quillith elder began speaking in their musical language, explaining the rules. No weapons. No killing. The trial ended when one fighter yielded or could no longer continue. Begin, the elder announced. Ara moved fast, faster than Taiwan expected. She crossed the arena in seconds. Her first strike would have taken his head off if he hadn't ducked on pure instinct. The crowd gasped. Apparently, surviving the first attack was unexpected. Taiwan scrambled backward, his mind racing. He couldn't match her strength or speed, but Daejung's words echoed in his mind. Be unpredictable. Be creative. Ara attacked again, all forearms striking in a coordinated pattern. Taiwan couldn't block them all. He took a hit to his shoulder that sent him sprawling. Pain exploded through his body. Yield, Ara commanded. Instead of yielding, Taiwan started laughing. The sound was slightly hysterical, but it had an effect. Ara paused, confused. What is funny? She demanded. I just realized something, Taiwan said, standing up despite the pain. You're trying to make me quit. But humans are really stubborn. He charged forward, not trying to strike but to disrupt her stance. It was a move that made no tactical sense. Ara was too busy being confused to counter it effectively. Taiwan managed to get past her guard, not to attack but to tap her shoulder like a game of tag. The crowd murmured in surprise. Ara's expression darkened. She attacked with more force, but Taiwan was already moving. He wasn't trying to win. He was trying to be annoying. He dodged, weaved, and occasionally did something completely random like stopping to adjust his shoe. Fight properly, Ara growled. I am fighting properly. For a human. The battle continued. Taiwan took more hits than he could count. His body screamed in pain. But he kept getting up. He kept moving. He started talking, distracting Ara with random observations about the weather, the station's food, anything to break her concentration. After 20 minutes, something changed. Ara's attacks became less aggressive. More testing. She was no longer trying to make him yield. She was trying to understand him. Finally, after Taiwan took a particularly hard hit and struggled to his feet for what felt like the 100th time, Ara stepped back. Enough, she said. I didn't yield, Taiwan gasped. No, you did not. You proved something more valuable than combat skill. You proved determination, creativity, and the ability to endure. Ara bowed slightly, a gesture of respect. You are worthy of bonding with Vilara. The crowd erupted in noise. Some species cheered. Others made sounds of approval in their own languages. Taiwan collapsed to his knees, exhausted and in pain, but somehow victorious. Vilara was beside him in moments. Her forearms helped him stand. You were magnificent, she said softly. I was a punching bag. You were human. And that was enough. The medical bay was quiet except for the soft hum of healing equipment. Taiwan lay on a bed while a medical technician treated his bruises and strained muscles. Everything hurt, but nothing was broken. Apparently, Ara had been holding back more than he realized. Vilara sat beside his bed, watching the treatment with intense focus. Her skin glowed with concerned purple light. You should rest, she said. The formal bonding ceremony is tomorrow. Another ceremony? I thought the combat was the ceremony. That was the trial of worthiness. Tomorrow is the actual bonding. It is less violent, mostly. She paused. I must tell you something. What? I knew your proposal was an accident. Taiwan turned to look at her, surprised. You knew? Yes, when you first said it, your body language showed confusion. You were tired. The translator had a slight delay. I understood immediately that you did not mean to propose. Her skin shifted to deep blue, but I accepted anyway. Why? Vilara was quiet for a long moment. Because for 6 months I have worked beside you. I have watched you solve problems in ways my people never consider. You make connections between ideas that seem impossible. You find humor in darkness. You treat everyone with respect, regardless of their species or status. She looked directly at him. When you said I would make a good wife even by accident, it revealed something true. You value me, not as a Quillith ambassador, not as a useful colleague, but as a person. I do value you, Taiwan admitted, but that doesn't mean I'm ready for a life bond. I know, but I wanted the chance to know you better, to see if what I suspected was true. What did you suspect? That humans possess something most species have forgotten, the ability to form genuine bonds across any barrier, not bonds of duty or tradition, but bonds of choice and affection. The formal bonding ceremony took place in a beautiful observation room overlooking the stars. Jisoo had arrived just in time, along with Taewon's parents via video link. Several other humans attended, curious to witness the first human-alien bonding in history. The ceremony was surprisingly simple. A Quillith elder spoke words in the ancient language. Velara and Taewon exchanged formal pledges of alliance, support, and mutual defense. Then they pressed their palms together, and Velara's skin glowed bright gold. "We are bonded," the elder announced. "May this alliance bring strength to both." The celebration afterward was strange. Quillith guests offered formal congratulations. Human guests offered confused but genuine well wishes. Jisoo hugged Taewon tightly. "You look like you're at a funeral instead of a wedding," she whispered. "It's not a wedding, I know, but maybe give it a chance. Velara seems nice. She is nice. That's not the problem. Then what is?" Taewon didn't have an answer. The next weeks changed everything. As a bonded unit, Taewon and Velara were assigned to work together on diplomatic missions across the sector. Their first assignment was mediating a dispute between two mining colonies over asteroid rights. The negotiation was failing. Both sides refused to compromise. Taewon watched Velara try every logical argument, every appeal to reason. Nothing worked. "May I try something?" he asked her privately. "Of course. We are partners now. Your ideas are mine." Taewon approached the negotiation differently. Instead of logic, he told stories. He talked about Earth's history, about wars fought over resources and the regret that followed. He made the colony leaders laugh with jokes, then think with questions. He connected with them emotionally rather than logically. Within hours, the deadlock broke. The colonies agreed to share the asteroid field, dividing it based on their different mining needs. Velara stared at him after the meeting. "How did you do that?" "I just talked to them like people instead of problems. That is, not how diplomacy is usually done." Maybe that's why it worked. Their next assignment was harder. Space pirates had attacked a civilian transport. The Galactic Council wanted the pirates captured, but they were hiding in a dangerous nebula that sensors couldn't penetrate. Velara planned a standard military response. Surround the nebula, wait for the pirates to emerge, capture them. That could take months, Taewon pointed out. "Yes, but it is safe. What if we go in after them?" "Impossible. The nebula blinds all sensors. We would be flying blind. Humans have experience with that. Earth's oceans are dark and full of things we can't see. But we learned to navigate them anyway." Taewon pulled up some data. The nebula isn't completely chaotic. There are patterns. Air currents, energy flows. We can't see the pirates, but we can predict where they'd hide based on these patterns. Velara studied the data, her skin flickering through thoughtful colors. "This is highly unconventional, but possible? Perhaps. If we combine your pattern analysis with Quillith combat tactics." She began sketching out a plan. Her strategic mind and his creative thinking merged into something neither could have created alone. The mission succeeded. The pirates were captured without casualties. The council commended both Taewon and Velara for their innovative approach. After the mission, they shared a quiet meal in the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the windows. "We work well together," Velara said. "We do," Taewon admitted. He'd been thinking the same thing. "I have noticed something about humans. You form emotional attachments quickly. My people take years to develop such feelings, but you seem to care deeply after only short times." "Yeah, that's pretty normal for us." "Is that bad?" "Not bad, different, interesting." She tilted her head. "Do you feel attachment to me?" Taewon considered the question honestly. "I think so. These past weeks working with you, I've realized how much I enjoy your company, how much I trust your judgment, how much I care about what happens to you. That is good, because I feel similarly." "Really?" "Yes. You have taught me that duty and affection need not be separate, that a bond based on obligation can grow into something more." Their communicators both buzzed simultaneously. Another assignment. A crisis on a border station that needed immediate diplomatic intervention. Velara looked at the message, then at Taewon. "Together?" "Together," he agreed. Over the following months, their reputation grew. The human Quillith diplomatic team that solved impossible problems. Species that had been in conflict for decades found common ground under their mediation. Pirates surrendered rather than face Velara's strategic brilliance combined with Taewon's unpredictable tactics. Jisoo visited the station during leave along with Ara. The two had been exchanging messages about engineering and combat techniques. They'd become friends in their own way. "You seem different," Jisoo told her brother. "Happier, do I?" "Yes, you used to be stressed all the time. Now you look content." Taewon thought about it. She was right. The bond that had started as a mistake had become the foundation of something valuable. He and Velara weren't romantic partners in the human sense, but they were true partners in every other way. One night, working late on yet another negotiation, Velara asked him something unexpected. "Do you regret it?" "The accidental proposal?" Taewon looked at her, at the being who had become so important to his life. "No," he said, surprised to realize it was true. "I don't regret it at all." Velara's skin glowed with brilliant gold. "Good. Because neither do I." The bond that began with careless words had become something neither of them wanted to lose. Not obligation, not duty, but genuine partnership, built on trust, respect, and growing affection, and maybe, Taewon thought, that was better than any traditional romance could have been. The message came during a routine morning on Harmony Gate Station. Taewon was reviewing trade agreements when his communicator buzzed with an urgent alert. The sender was from the Quillith homeworld, official government communication. His hands shook slightly as he opened it. Velara received the same message simultaneously. They met in their shared office, a space they'd claimed together over the past year of working as partners. "Did you read it?" she asked, her skin flickering with agitated colors. "Yes, they're challenging our bond." The message was formal and cold. A political faction on the Quillith homeworld had filed a legal challenge. They claimed that bonding with a human weakened Quillith tradition and honor. They wanted the council to review the bond and consider dissolution. "There is something else," Velara said quietly. "An old law I had forgotten. If both bonded partners agree that their alliance serves no purpose, it can be dissolved without dishonor to either party." Taewon felt something cold settle in his stomach. "So we could end this, no insult. No war, just done." "Yes, the hearing is scheduled for next month. If we both appear and agree to dissolution, the bond ends. We return to our separate lives." They sat in silence for a long moment. Outside the window, ships moved between the stars, carrying on with their business, unaware of the crisis brewing in this small office. "Is that what you want?" Taewon finally asked. "I should ask you the same question. This bond has limited your freedom, prevented you from pursuing romantic relationships with other humans, tied you to obligations you never chose. That's not an answer." Velara's skin shifted through complex patterns of color. "My people expect me to agree to dissolution, to show that I value Quillith tradition over personal attachment, to prove that warriors do not become soft." "But what do you want?" She met his eyes. "I want to know what you want. You never chose this bond. I accepted your accidental proposal, knowing it was a mistake. I trapped you in this situation. If you wish to be free, I will not stand in your way." Taewon stood up and walked to the window. The past year replayed in his mind. The missions they'd completed together, the late night solving impossible problems, the way they'd learned to predict each other's thoughts and complement each other's weaknesses. He thought about the time Velara had stayed up for 3 days helping him prepare for his mother's birthday, learning about human gift traditions she didn't understand. The time he'd sat with her through a Quillith remembrance ceremony, honoring warriors he'd never met simply because it mattered to her. "I need to talk to some people," he said. "Can we discuss this later?" "Of course. We have time before the hearing." Taewon called Jisoo first. His sister appeared on the screen, immediately noticing his expression. "What happened?" He explained the situation, the challenge, the option for dissolution, the choice he had to make. "So you can get out of this?" Jisoo asked carefully. "Yes, clean break. No consequences. Do you want to? I don't know. That's why I'm calling you." Jisoo leaned back in her chair. "Remember when you first told me about the accidental proposal? You were terrified. You called it the worst mistake of your life." "I remember." "What would you call it now?" Taewon thought about it. "I don't know if I'd call it a mistake anymore." "Then you have your answer." Next, he called his parents. They appeared together on screen, his mother holding tea, his father reading something on a tablet. "Son," his father greeted him. "It is good to see you. How is the alien wife?" She's not my wife, Dad. It's different than that. She is your partner, yes? You work together, live near each other, support each other in all things. Yes, but sounds like a wife to me, his mother interrupted with a smile. A very practical marriage. Taewon explained the situation. His parents listened carefully. Do you want to end the bond? His mother asked when he finished. Everyone expects me to. It would solve problems for everyone. Velara could focus on her career without controversy. I could pursue a more traditional human relationship. That is not what I asked. Taewon closed his eyes. No, I don't want to end it, his father nodded. The best relationships often start in unexpected ways. Your mother and I met because I accidentally took her luggage at the airport. She chased me down, yelling in 3 languages. I thought she was terrifying. Now I cannot imagine life without her. Your situation is stranger, his mother admitted, but not wrong. If this bond makes you happy, if this partnership enriches your life, why would you end it? Finally, Taewon talked to Hyun. The older diplomat had watched the entire situation unfold from the beginning. I remember when you first came to me in panic, Hyun said. You thought your career was over. You thought you'd started a war. I was an idiot. You were inexperienced, but you grew. You and Velara have accomplished more in 1 year than most diplomatic teams accomplish in 5. Your approach to negotiation has changed how the council operates. Other species are studying your methods. That's because of both of us. Not just me. Exactly. You work better together than apart. So the question is simple. Do you want to keep working together? It's not just about work anymore. I know. That is what makes this real. The month before the hearing passed quickly. Taewon and Velara continued their duties, but tension hung between them. They didn't discuss the upcoming decision. Each seemed to be waiting for the other to speak first. 3 days before the hearing, Ara cornered Taewon in the corridor. You are being stupid, she said bluntly. Excuse me? Velara believes you want dissolution, that you are being polite by not saying so. She is preparing to agree to the dissolution to free you from obligation. What? No, I don't want dissolution. Then tell her, you foolish human. She cares for you deeply, but she will let you go if she believes it will make you happy. Taewon found Velara in the observation deck staring at the stars. Her skin glowed with sad purple light. We need to talk, he said. I know, the hearing is soon. We should coordinate our statements. I don't want dissolution. Velara went completely still. What? I don't want to end the bond. I know it started as a mistake. I know it's been complicated. But this past year has been the best year of my life. Working with you, learning from you, being your partner. I don't want to lose that. But you never chose this. I forced it upon you. You gave me an option to escape with honor. I'm choosing not to take it. I'm choosing this bond, choosing you, not because I have to, because I want to. Velara's skin began glowing with brilliant gold. Are you certain? My people will not understand. There will be political pressure. Let them pressure us. We've faced worse. Together. The Quilith government expects me to choose duty over personal attachment. What do you choose? I choose you, Velara said softly. I choose this partnership. This bond that has become more precious than I ever imagined. The hearing took place in the Galactic Council chambers. Hundreds of representatives from dozens of species attended. The Quilith delegation sat on one side looking stern and disapproving. The human delegation sat on the other, led by Hyun. The Quilith elder conducting the hearing spoke formally. We are here to review the bond between Velara of the Quilith and Taewon of Earth. A petition has been filed claiming this bond weakens tradition and should be dissolved. However, dissolution requires both parties to agree the bond serves no purpose. The elder looked at them directly. Do you both agree to dissolution? Taewon stood up. No, I do not agree. Velara stood beside him. Nor do I. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The Quilith delegation looked shocked. The human delegation tried to hide their smiles. You refuse dissolution? The elder asked. We do, Velara said. This bond was formed in an unusual way, but it has proven its worth through action. Together, Taewon and I have resolved conflicts, protected civilians, and brought new approaches to diplomacy. Our bond serves great purpose. More than that, Taewon added. This bond has taught both our species something important. That partnerships don't have to follow old patterns. That duty and affection can coexist. That choosing someone is more powerful than being obligated to them. The Quillith challenger stood up, angry. You shame our traditions. I honor them, Valara countered. Quillith bonds are sacred because they represent commitment and loyalty. My bond with Taiwan embodies those values completely. The only difference is that we also choose each other daily, not just once. The hearing continued for hours. Arguments were made on both sides. But in the end, the council ruled in their favor. The bond would stand. The challenge was dismissed. Outside the council chambers, Jisoo and Ara were waiting. They'd become close friends, bonding over engineering discussions and combat training. Jisoo hugged her brother tightly. You did it, she whispered. We did it, he corrected, looking at Valara. That night, they returned to their shared office. The stars outside seemed brighter somehow. I should tell you something, Taiwan said. When I first made that stupid joke about you being a cute wife, I was exhausted and not thinking. But looking back, maybe some part of me meant it. Maybe I already valued you more than I realized. And now? Valara asked. Now I know for certain. You're my partner, my ally, my friend, and I choose that every single day. As do I, Valara said, her skin glowing with warm golden light. 5 years later, T,